Hello, or hello again if you've been following the channel. So today's a little bit different. I'm taking a little bit of a stop to learn a few things and to find out a few more details about the KX-1. So I've got a list of questions. If you've been watching this, I keep track of all the experiments or things going on here. And we're up to experiment number 185. And today is 8/25. 2024. And so a few questions. I've never edited a video before. Everything I do comes off the iPhone, goes right up to YouTube. So there's no time spent or wasted doing any kind of video editing. So I did get a program called CapCut. So I may try some editing this time. So you might see some experimental schematics or maybe some music in the background just to see if I can do it. So you can give feedback there as necessary. So if you think it's extra or you think it might be useful at some point, let me know. So the questions of the day were, so you guys have been around, I've been playing with the KX-1, and I ended up having a battery in backwards, but then I also ended up with a bad battery. So that brought up the question of what was the total voltage, and I didn't have any pins, so I think I wasted, I don't know, probably a couple of hours playing around with things I found in boxes while looking for these pins. So that's how it goes in the ham shack. So we're going to get the Klein out because the new HP's too hard to look at, too hard with the camera, I mean. So we're going to get into DC mode here. I'm going to probe the minus and the plus here. And we got 10.05 volts. That looks pretty promising, and we'll see if we know why that's true. And to avoid any shorts, I'm going to pull these out so that I don't do anything bad. And then we're going to see what's the general trend here. So on each of the batteries, we should see, I hope, the same voltage, 1.68, we'll call that 68. And then 1.68 again, and 1.6, close to 8, and 1.67, we'll call it 1.68 just for convenience. So they are all pretty well in agreement. We will try that. 1.68, and you can complain about that, times 6. 10.08 volts, so that's pretty close to what we got. So I think everything's in order and things are healthy. Then the question came up, what voltage should I see on the dial? So I had a couple of questions like, is there a protection diode? It could be a Schottky, so it could be a couple of tenths of a volt, or it could be a diode and be like 0.6. And then if there is one, what will I get on the readout after getting, I think we got, let's call it 10.0 anyway. And then does the final PA operate on battery voltage or on a regulated voltage? And then does the entire radio operate on battery voltage? So I'm going to hopefully edit in a schematic snapshot that shows there is a separate PA connection called, I think it was called V plus or something like that. We'll look. That goes right to the input from the battery after the protection diode. So this is a yes. And is there a voltage readout after the diode? Yes, it is. So we'll figure out what that is when we measure it. And then I found out that, like I said, the PA operates right on that voltage after the protection diode. So that should be 10.0 minus maybe a couple of tenths. And so that's a yes. And then does the entire radio operate on the battery voltage? And that is a no, because there are some, I think there's a 5 and another maybe 8 or 9 volt regulator that are used for the rest of the radio. I'm going to take a minute and I'll put up a schematic of the battery and the protection diodes. Then I'll also put up a quick look at the final, actually the whole transmit chain, and you can see that the driver is fed by a regulated voltage, but the PA is fed from that battery voltage. And then on to a question for you guys. So my KX-1 has this thing, and I didn't really notice it before because it's covered with black tape, but you can see it has 4 inputs. I'm assuming 2 of those are plus and minus, and then 2 other signals. And then there's the back of the board. So it looks like a homebrew single-sided board. And if I pull off the tape, we can reveal a surface mount device. I'll save that tape on the side and zoom in for you. So there is the board. So you guys can make comments as to what you think that is. I think it might be, I'm not even going to speculate. Let's see what you guys think. I'll turn it this way and then zoom one more time to give you a better view. So can't exactly read that. If that's H0SS or N0SS, that might be a clue. And then this looks like 10.5, maybe 01. That's about right for the vintage of the radio. And then the processor, or whatever that is, a JRC A4047B. I'll look that up after the video. And I see a couple of caps and some other miscellaneous in here. So tell me what you think that is and what it does, and I'll put the tape back and reinstall it into the radio. It was just laying here like that, and since the bottom of the board is totally insulated, it seems to be okay for it to lay in like that. So I'll reinstall the tape and leave that as is. Some other thoughts here. Make some comments. What are things that you like when you pick other videos? So lately I've been watching a lot of Curious Mark and the Apollo series and a lot of his vintage HP repairs. And I think the things I like the most are the fact that I like to see the whole process. So he'll edit and he'll then speed up sometimes during the mechanical bits of screwing things in, etc. I also like the fact that he does elevator music during the theory parts to keep you amused and amazed when it may be less exciting. And then I also like occasional images and schematics so I can capture them and use them later. And so I've never done any of those, so I'll make an attempt to do that. But you guys tell me what things you like in videos, and I'm going to see if I can learn how to do a little bit better job at this. So we'll leave it at that, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.